In today's video, I'm going to be exposing the myths when it comes to scalp micropigmentation. My name's Will Quay. I'm a clinical trichologist and specialist scalp micropigmentation artist, helping you guys that are struggling with hair loss. Okay, so in today's video, I want to talk to you about the myths when it comes to scalp micropigmentation. There's so many things floating around the internet. Now, to be honest, these are just, well, I'm basing what I'm about to tell you on facts, but it's my opinion. You're going to get so many people's opinions, and I would just say to them or challenge them, just ask them, well, why do you think that? And why are you telling me this? You know, I'll tell you. Over the years, when it comes to scalp micropigmentation, I suppose in history, in any industry or anything in history, things just get twisted as they go along. Now, back in the day when SMP originated, there was like a clear definition between, you know, I'm an SMP artist, not a tattooist. So there was like a real separation between SMP and tattooing, and that is one of the topics or subjects I want to cover today. But before we go into that, the first myth I would like to debunk is that SMP looks fake and obvious. Now, in some cases, this may actually be true because it depends on the artist that has actually done the SMP and how it was planned out. Now, there's some guys out there that are doing absolutely atrocious work, and they shouldn't be allowed to have a tattoo machine in their hand. Even when I think back at the beginning, in the early days when I first started doing treatments, as long as you stick to the fundamentals of what you have been taught, there is no way you should be blasting people's heads like the way I see people do. I just don't understand where that's come from. So yeah, depending on who you've actually had your treatment done by, it can look obvious and fake. If you get it done by a reputable artist and you've checked the reviews, you've checked the client testimonials, you've looked at their work, you know that they're not using software on their before and after photos to cheat you into thinking it's something it's not, and you've really done your due diligence and go to someone proper, it's gonna be absolutely fine. Like people like myself or any other artists worldwide that are still in the business today that are just pumping out results after results after results, they wouldn't still be in business if it wasn't good. Like, you know, they would have been out of business or it just would have ended badly. So it's just more, I'm not putting it back on you, but you need to do your due diligence and don't just speak to me, don't just speak to, you know, speak to as many people as possible. Speak to old clients if you get the opportunity to do that. We can point you in the right direction for that. There's a lot of my clients that would be more than happy to put your mind at ease when it comes to scalp micropigmentation. So yeah, can it look fake? Yes. Done by the correct artist? No way. It's going to look absolutely undetectable and natural. Trust me on that one. So myth number 2. Now, people are saying, is SMP a tattoo? And there's some of you guys out there that are saying, nah, it's not a tattoo. It's SMP, innit? We don't go as deep. You know, that's another myth, by the way. It's not a tattoo, it's SMP. It's completely different. We use specialist pigments. We use this, that, and the other. Different tools. Well, let me tell you now, and you know me, I don't talk shit. That is the biggest load of you're gonna hear. SMP is a tattoo. For the most part, I'll just speak for myself, I use a carbon-based black pigment. Now that is diluted down to a shade that is gonna suit my client's skin tone or hair follicle, but it is just a carbon black based pigment. Nice and simple. That's it. And we use needles. We use 3 round liner needles. Now, a tattoo artist would also use a 3 round liner needle, depending on what tattoo he's doing. He might use that for a bit of line work. He might use that for, I don't know, some sort of detail, some bit of dot work or whatever. But he may also use a curved mag or a shader, or I don't know all the needles when it comes to tattooing because I'm not a tattoo artist. I only use one type of needle. It's quite simple for me. I use a 3 round liner, but different sizes, right? Now, that's a tattoo. We're getting a needle and we're putting ink or pigment into your skin. It's a tattoo, but it's a type of technique that we use to get it to look natural and like SMP or like a hair tattoo. I always say hair tattoo. Look, it even says it on my t-shirt there. We tattoo hair because that's exactly what we do. So in my eyes, when people say to you it's not a tattoo, they're talking absolute They don't know what they're talking about. It's a tattoo. But it's the same as me saying to someone, I don't know, like a tattoo artist does mandalas or dot work or geometric work, right? And I would say to that tattoo artist, can you do a portrait? I want my mum's face on my leg. Can you do that? They probably ain't going to be able to do it because they don't specialise in portraits or black and white or whatever it may be. Someone might be into Japanese or, you know, whatever their style is. So SMP is just a style of tattoo. I specialise in SMP. Could I do a portrait? Probably not. But if I'd have been working on tattooing portraits for the last 6 years, I might stand a chance and be all right at it. In fact, I probably would be good at it because I'm obsessive when it comes to things and I'm learning, right? But I don't specialise in that. I specialise in SMP. So it's just finding the right tattoo artist or SMP artist that is going to be able to do that for you. That's it. So another myth is SMP's permanent. Once you got it, that's it. That's true to an extent. Hear me out here, right? So before, people used to say SPMU, which is semi-permanent makeup when it comes to eyebrows, lips, this, that, and the other. It's never been semi-permanent. It's always been permanent. I.e., once I've done your SMP, that's not going anywhere. It may fade over time after a few years and you may need a top up, but essentially that pigment is in your scalp. So it's permanent, but there is a get out of jail free card. Now, because we only use black carbon-based pigment, we can laser that out. So you can get a tattoo laser removal done and it can draw the pigment out. Now, where carbon black is the smallest molecule size when it comes to all the inks, it draws out fairly easy. Now, I'm not going to say it's going to be a pleasant scenario for you. It's going to hurt, but it can be done. You know, we have clients that come in that have had SMP done. They're not happy with it for whatever reason, and then they get it lasered out, and then we then go over and fix it and do SMP how we do SMP. So it can be, or you could get it lasered off and just never get SMP ever again because it just wasn't for you. That's fine. So yes, it's permanent, as in it's not like a semi-permanent and it's going to fade over time and eventually disappear into thin air. That's not the case. It's permanent, but there's a get out of jail free card when it comes to tattoo lasering. You can get it lasered off, never have to think about SMP ever again if that's what you want. Okay, myth number 4, SMP is only for bald men or men that want to have a buzz cut. Now, this is a myth and I'm going to debunk it because you can have SMP through long hair. But, and there is a but, you just need to know all the pros and cons before moving forward. Now, you're going to get some artists out there that'll be like, you know, you've got long hair, it's thinning at the crown, and they go, yeah, we can do a density treatment, that's all right. And they just go, bang, 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 like throw a load of darts in your head. Yeah, make it as dark as possible. And then they go, it looks great. And then you get an Instagram before and after, and you go, you know, like, that's amazing. Like, look, it's completely gone, great. But what they're not telling you is if you was to get further hair loss over the years, say 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years even, there's probably going to come a point where you're going to have to shave that hair off. Now, you buzz that hair off, you're going to be left with an absolute disgusting mess underneath there. Now, I don't want that. So all I do is tell my clients, right, yes, we can do that, but in an ideal scenario, you would be better off shaving your hair, even if it's just for the treatment, so we can be accurate, get the treatment done, and then grow your hair back. Some of you guys take my advice and you do that, and some of you decide, no, I don't want to do that. But it's still your decision, and I'm happy to go with whatever, as long as I've told you, because I want to sleep easy at night. You know, I want a business in 10, 15 years. I'm not going to do that to you, and then you wake up, buzz your hair off in 10 years' time and go, you know, that wanker Will, he never told me that. As long as I've told you, and then you can make an informed decision. So yes, you can have SMP with long hair. You just need to know the pros and cons. We can do it through hair or buzzing down. Ideally, it's better buzzed down, but we can do it through hair. You just need to know the long-term results. So those are some of the biggest myths that I hear of. There's a load more. If you liked this style of video and you want to hear more myths debunked by myself, please let me know in the comments below. Any questions, you can also drop them in the comments below. All of our details can be found on www.scalpnation.co.uk. See you on the next one.